welcome back to Flow Design Architects. In this video, we're gonna keep discussing what we were previously talking about, the basics of understanding architectural drawings. So if you haven't followed up to our previous videos, please make sure to look at them and get familiar to what we are discussing, so you get to speed with the items that we talked before. So previously, in the videos that we talked before, we talked about symbols and sheets, plans, elevations, and in this video we're gonna go briefly and discuss the items of sections, building sections, wall sections, etc., and details, briefly details, but most of the video is we're gonna be discussing sections in particular. So once again, if you haven't looked at our videos, please make sure to like them, so we can get a sense of that people are kind of understanding what we're trying to create here at Flow. So once again, we had these plans previously. I actually cleaned it a little bit so we can talk a little bit about sections. We talk about elevations where you can see, the exterior of the building and materials, windows, location of doors, etc. Sections are a little bit more detailed. Typically, sections are in a larger scale within this, the set of drawings, so you can actually get a sense of each member, because architectural plans most of the times are very generic. Like for example, elevations, they tell you, okay, this is the siding, the type of siding that you're trying to produce or create within the building. But in sections, you can go a little bit more detailed. You can go, like, if you want to reveal on that siding, if you want you want to indicate the transition between like one type of siding and then the next, you can kind of show that in details better with the wall sections. So, but what is a wall section? Wall section is basically, imagine if you're looking at a plan and you're cutting, let's say, a cake. You have a cake, and then you have a knife. The knife, you are cutting that cake in half. So now when you rotate that cake, you can see the top of the cake, but now you can also see the interior of that cake, and you can kind of see what are the layers of that cake, if it is strawberry or if it is chocolate, what kind of cake it is. Is the same idea with sections. Imagine that you have your building and you have a knife cutting through your building, and then you rotate that and you're looking straight at it. Now, the importance of sections, once again, is that you could see the build out of this building. You can see the layers, you can see the levels, you can see the relationships, you can see, if one level is 2 stories and then the other level is 1 story. So that's the importance of having sections within your architectural plans, so people can understand the spatial relationships and, how this building is put together. So once again, imagine we're cutting a knife through this building. So last time, I already made some sketches so we can relate to it quickly. Imagine that we're cutting this building right here. And then if you relate to the video that we discussed before, this is the symbol, typical symbol for section, cutting a section through it. And then that says it is located, this is section 1, located in sheet 300. So when you go to that sheet, now you see a section through that building. Now, if we go back to the videos that we discussed about elevations, in elevations you can kind of see, the basement level, the ground, the first floor, the top plate, and the top of the roof. Now, if we go towards here, you can kind of see, the levels that we discussed before. This is the ground level. This is ground. this is your basement level, this is your first floor, that's the top plate, and that's your top of the roof. So, but what is the difference? Before, you could see only the exterior of the building, and the window, you could see the window and that kind of thing. In the section, you can see the foundation wall, you could see the slab, the concrete slab on that foundation wall, you can see the floor assembly, what kind of framing it is. Is it 2 by 8, 2 by 10, 2 by 12? You could also see the top plate in the relationship with the roof rafters and your ceiling joists in a lot more details. So this is the importance of understanding what a section is and where you can find it and what kind of information you can get within a section. Now, imagine that you have a building that has 2 levels, but in section you can see, oh wow, this level is actually higher. It's a 2 stories here. And then you can see the relationship between those. Maybe you have a railing in here, looking down at it and that kind of thing. You wouldn't be able to know that information if you don't cut a section through it. A lot of designers and architects like to design in sections because then you can see the relationship between the spaces and like how you can create kind of cool moments within the building to make it interesting. So that's the importance of sections. Once again. Now, sections is still kind of very generic. In sections, you can see the insulation value. You could see, oh, there is an insulation here. There is insulation here. There's insulation on the walls. You can kind of see where that is placed within the sections. But sections, in terms of scale, they tend to be a little bit bigger than a plan. That a floor plan, but if you really want to see that section, then what you do is that you enlarge that section, and let's say this section is located, I don't know, in 1-3-10. Like, oh wow, Marcos, I can see your section, but where do I get the information about that wall? Well, very simple. You enlarge that section to see the build out of that wall assembly, and then you go to that sheet, and then you can see the construction of it. In here, you will be able to know, hey, that foundation wall is 10 inches. This dimension, let's say, is 3 feet. 3 feet by 12 inches. In the wall section, you will be able to tell, oh, that floor joists are actually 2 by 10. You have your wall type, like this is a 2 by 6. Exterior stud. This is your sheathing. 3/4 of an inch, and then you can see, oh wow, look at this kind of siding. This siding goes like that, but guess what? They might be a different type of siding at a certain point, and then you can kind of see the relationship between the transition between that kind of siding, your typical horizontal siding or vinyl siding or whatever it is, but then you change to maybe a vertical type of siding, so you can say like, this is siding 1 and this is siding 2. So you can kind of get a sense of those details within the wall section. You can see the relationship of the roof rafters, and how they connect. So this is maybe a 2 by 10 roof rafters. You can see the fascia, and how that is connected to your roof. So let's say this is a 1 by 8. Well, actually, if this is a 2 by 10, let's say this is a 1 by 12 fascia. You can see the insulation here. Now you can see them with more detail. And you can say, oh, wow, this insulation, needs to be minimum, let's say R25, And then you can kind of understand like, oh, I need to put an R25 on that wall assembly, wall cavity to be able to meet code. Also things that you might be able to find in that wall section, is a side, the interior shear rock of that. Let's say you have a 1.5 inch GWB. And those are things that are important for you to understand and where to find it in the architectural plan, in the architectural set of plans, because then you can kind of get a sense and have a very smart conversation with the architect. Like, hey, I know that you are showing in your walls, in the wall section, a roof rafter that is 2 by, let's say, the architect is showing a 2 by 12, and then you as an owner are like, hey, Mr. Architect, like, is there a way that we could kind of reduce the member? The building's kind of expensive. Maybe is there like a different wall, roof type that we could come up with, or maybe a different detail to kind of reduce the cost? And then, if you refer to sheet, detail wall section 1 on 310 in your set of plans, you're indicating this. I was thinking maybe we could do this or that. What do you think? No. So those kind of conversations. But if you don't understand what those things are, then it becomes hard. And then when you see it on site, you're like, oh my God, this is not what I imagined the building was gonna look like. But if you understood the details of it in like wall sections and details and where you can find those and how they look like, then you can have an informative conversation with your architect and designer. So once again, thank you so much for your time. Hope this video is helpful, and until the next one, thank you.
Welcome to Flow Design Architects, a company that works with you for you. Thank you for watching.